Joy and welcome to my studio. Today I wanted to show you how to make this real simple and easy leaf necklace and earrings. It's a lot of fun. I think you're going to be amazed how simple it is. So let's get started. We're going to be using QuikWood, which is a wood putty epoxy, and the great thing I like about QuikWood, it has 30 minutes workable time. It's rock hard in an hour and you can just keep on working. The one thing though, rock hard means rock hard in your jewelry, so take all of your jewelry off. I'm going to be using some vegetable spray. Yes, Pam will work, and spray it on my hands so it doesn't stick to my hands. So we're going to take our vegetable spray and I'm going to spray it onto my finger and then into my mold. And you can do these all at one time if you want to do the whole set. You could spray your bigger one there if you want to. And this is our oak leaf. We've got our earrings and our necklace. So we've got one big and two little for our necklace and earring set. And I just really like this. I think this looks so much like fall. And these are at miriamjoy.com that you do order them there. So I'm going to get my QuikWood ready to put into the mold. This takes such a little amount. This is such an inexpensive gift or item to make. That's totally up to you. I always say kind of the hardest thing to do with QuikWood is to cut such a small amount. So we just need a little piece. I'm going to put my end of my covering back on top of it, my little foil circle, and put it back in there and seal it back up. Take the plastic off. I can't tell you how many times people forget to take the plastic off. And this stores for quite a while, but if you have a little bit of crusty on the end, just remove it with your fingers and knead it. That's what makes it activate. You see the two different colors? There's your two different parts. And by kneading that together, you activate the QuikWood. So we're going to knead that till it's all one solid color and it starts to get warm to the touch. So we're going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to take a straight razor and I'm going to cut this little part between the outside to the inside, and that is going to be for our eye pin so that we can stick that in there and turn that into an earring. It doesn't affect the rest of the mold. It's just one straight cut and it'll work just fine when you go to use it the next time. So I'm going to put this in here and I'm going to pull the extra out with my thumb a little bit, and we're going to push that down nice and tight. And we're going to put our eye pin in, and for it to stay in, we need this standing up, not sideways in that slot. So I'm going to trim our eye pin a little bit because it's a little bit long here. This was a 2-inch eye pin, and probably about a 1/2 inch off on that. And we're going to stick that right down in that little hole, and this will take a little bit of practice, and we want to push it into our mold. Try and get my fingers out of the way. You want it right above that stem, and you want that down in there but not so it's going through the front, and you'll be able to tell once we pull it out. So sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating, and that's okay. If it doesn't work right the first time, then do it again. We're also going to do this the exact same way for our necklace as we do for our earrings. We'll use a jump ring to put our necklace and earrings together to our pieces. So there, let's see if I can hold that in with my finger, get that all laid down nice and neat, and try and keep that piece in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some of that little QuikWood that we use to pull off the top, try and keep that top part down, and just cover up that wire and smooth out that QuikWood. Now we want to make sure that our edges are clean. Push in away from the edges so that it's crisp and clean. You don't have any sloppy ends. And this jump ring, or excuse me, eye pin, should not be so far down that it's in the stem. It should just be at the top of that. So we're going to take our packing tape, cut a piece off, and we're going to lightly push on our leaf so it doesn't change the shape of it. And we're going to pull this out, and it should stick to that. If it's not sticking real well, then you probably don't have enough of the vegetable oil. And our little jump ring came out right there, and if you need to turn that, then go ahead and turn that and position that a little bit. I've got just a little bit of a sloppy piece on the side of that, but not bad at all. Don't be afraid to redo it if you need to redo it, but you can see the eye pin at the top of that leaf, and that is exactly what you want. Now, if you want to give this a few minutes to dry, you can, to let it harden up a bit, but we're going to be working on it while our QuikWood is wet, because our QuikWood is sticky until it starts to dry. And we're going to be using pigment powder on it, and I love pigment powder. It's so much easier than painting it. Now, with that said, if you want to paint it with acrylic paint, just let it dry for 1 hour so it's rock hard, and I wipe it off with alcohol, and then it gets all the oil and everything off, and then I go ahead and paint it with any type of acrylic paint, and then follow the same instructions that we'll be giving you from there. But I like the pigment powder because it sticks, and it's so much easier than trying to do it with acrylic paint. I'm going to be using Brilliant Yellow. You can find this in your scrapbook section, and if you have problems finding the colors you want, or you're not finding what you like, then visit my good friend at bluewheelarts.com. Her name is Leah. Tell her Miriam Joy sent you, and she'll take care of you. So we're going to be using whatever type of old brush, or they also have special brushes to apply this on with. We're going to put it into our pigment powder and then bounce it into the lid. Now, I am working while this is still a little bit movable, so you don't want to press very hard at all. You want to keep this nice and light. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush here, and we're just going to apply it all over our leaf, and then we're also going to make sure that we get all of these sides. And that's the nice thing about the tape, is it holds it so you can work with it and move it around and see all of these different edges and sides and everything. So we can get those all done and colored. We've got that nice and covered. Now we're going to add a little bit of brown to this. And you may want to do like opposite sides, or no rhyme or reason, whatever you want to do. I'm going to add a little bit of brown, and I'm just going over my yellow, and I'm just bringing it up, and just to make it look like a leaf. I'm not going to do too much. And to change my color, I'm just wiping it out, and I'm going to, this is pumpkin orange. And I'm going to put a little bit of orange right on there. Now I'm going to do a little bit of acrylic liner work. So my suggestion is go ahead and let these dry, get them nice and hard, and then we're going to come back in with some burnt umber and make them look more like a leaf. So I've put out a little bit of burnt umber. I'm going to put a little bit of water into my liner and make it more ink consistency, and just twirl that when you pull it up. And we want a nice thin line. And so I am going to come down the center of these, just nice and light. Rest your hand down on your pinky, and that gives you more control. And we're going to follow the lines that are in our mold. And we're just going to do them. And the big necklace is done exactly the same way as the earrings. You can see the one side's a little bit darker. That means I had a little bit more water in the other side, so you can make a match. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my other earring. Now to make this really look like a fall leaf, we're going to add these little tiny dots. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a fan brush and we're going to wet it down, and we're going to put it into our paint. Now I don't want this real watery because my spots will be bigger. So I want it kind of in between that. And it's best if you do this outside. I'm doing this in such a small area. I think I'm okay, but really watch where your dots go. You'll be surprised at where they end up. And I'm going to grab another larger brush and always test it. And I'm going to hit it with that. That one's kind of hollow here. And you can see those dots. And another thing is, if you like the littler dots, you can kind of go around it. And the littler dots should head more off to the side than in the middle. And the more you do it, the more small your dots are going to get. So that's another option as well. And we just want to get those dots kind of on our leaf. We don't want too many, but enough. And I think that's just fine the way they are. And you can see I got them on other places, but just enough that we've kind of got those guys nice and covered. Okay, now let that dry. It doesn't take very long. That's just a real thin layer. And then we're going to take these outside and we're going to spray varnish them. And we're going to use whatever spray varnish you're comfortable with. I use Krylon or Rust-Oleum. I pick them up for Walmart under $4. I use flat on these. I might even try satin this time. I thought I would like the flat because it's more the matte color of the leaves, but I might even go up one and try just a little bit of a shine with the satin. So that's up to you. Do 2 or 3 coats, leave them on here, and you're going to let them dry really, really well. Once they're dry, flip them over, find acrylic color like straw that is similar to the color that you used on the front, and do a couple coats of that, and then varnish them again on the back. And then we're going to assemble them. Before I assemble this, I want to kind of show you some of my other fall ones, and we'll have videos on these, but this would be really cute to string. I know the colors aren't quite right, but you could put a couple up on the side and do a couple up here, and that would make a really pretty necklace as well. So think about other options. I wanted to keep this really simple. I wanted a nice long chain on this one, and you're going to put it together with a jump ring just like we are the earrings. Now you have 2 pieces. Now if this was going sideways instead of up and down, you could just undo this one and hook it right in. But because they're both going that way, we have to have a jump ring in the middle of those 2 for it to hang straight. And one of the first things I always do is I always tighten this one to make sure that's nice and tight, and then it will not slide out. And I'm going to use whatever size jump ring you are comfortable with that looks nice with your earring. We're going to open it up and we're going to put it between the earring hanger and the leaf. And we want to make sure that we have it going the right direction. That's something you've got to make sure before you close it up. So just kind of hang it down, make sure you don't have it on backwards. And then I'm just going to close that jump ring up. And you want to make sure that it is nice and tight. You don't want any space between it where it could come loose or out. And you're going to do this for all of the pieces, and you would even do the same for the necklace. Between that part and the necklace itself, you can put it on the necklace itself with a jump ring, and then you're going to have, and I put it on backwards just like I told you not to, but once you get it right, just your earring. Aren't those pretty? Wasn't that a lot of fun? And once you get the basic materials, they really become inexpensive. We make sure you order your oak leaves. We have the large and the small, and we also have the QuikWood at miriamjoy.com. And if you ever have a question about any of the products or anything, you can always email us at art@miriamjoy.com. Thank you, and God bless.